Hey guys, it's Harleywood. By far, my knife sharpening videos are my highest watched on the channel. People just gravitate to them. I don't know what it is, but they get the most views. And I've done several, probably 7 or 8 different systems now. I've done a few videos on the Wicked Edge system. I've done a few videos on the Tormek system. I've done the Hapstone and a couple others. I've run the gamut of kind of the lower end sharpeners up to the very high end sharpeners that cost well over $1,000. This particular unit here, the T8, is $700. Now you throw this Japanese water stone on there, that's an additional $400. Now before you fall out of your chair and pass out, I get it, that's expensive. If you're just the average guy, sharpening your EDC knives, or maybe a pack knife like or a bushcraft knife or a camp axe or something like that, it probably doesn't make sense. But if you make a living sharpening and you need that speed and that precision, starts to make a little more sense. If you have a very high-end knife collection, some guys spend $1,000, $1,500 on a single knife and they don't want to trust it to, some inferior products. Starts to make a little more sense. But I get it. That's a lot of money. And Tormek has heard that. And as such, they've come out with the T4. This is the Bushcraft Edition T4. No more excuses. This guy right here is $425. Now to put that in perspective, the Apex Edge Pro, the Hapstone, a couple of the others that I've reviewed, the TS Profiler, they're all roughly that same price. This is a far superior unit to those. For the money, hands down, this is it. Unfortunately, this one does not, to my knowledge yet, have a Japanese water stone like this one has on here. This pretty much was a game changer for me, and I'm just going to be honest with you, I don't even use my Wicked Edges anymore. I have 2 of them. I have the Field model and I have the Gen 3 Pro. I haven't used them in about a year. This has changed the game for me. But this is going to be for those of you who have a hard time stomaching $700. I get it. Again, I get it. It's expensive. $425, way worth it. Let's go over some of the features. I'm going to get the camera in a little closer and we'll show you some of the differences between these two. Alright, the biggest and most obvious difference, the size. The T8 comes with a 10-inch wheel. The T4 comes with an 8-inch wheel. This one is mostly a metallic housing. This blue part here is plastic. This one has a metallic housing on the top. What you see in green is plastic. There's a little bit different styling. You can see here the dial to tighten when you move the rod. I'll show you that in a minute. But when you move that guide rod down in here, they had to angle this wheel off a little bit just to allow clearance for the stropping wheel there. This one sits a little more upright. Other than that, the controls in the back are the same. The cord for power comes out of the front on this one. It comes out of the back on the T8. I do kind of like that a little bit more. I'm not sure why they ran it out of the front. This one has a dial on the back that allows you to raise and lower the water trough. This one, the water trough is fixed and it just pops on and pops off. The water trough on the T8 has a magnet in the front. Well, it's actually this guy that's the magnet. So there's a magnet here, it affixes here, and all of your particulate sticks right there. And then you can take this off and use it as a scraper to scrape all of that particulate out. The trough for the T4 is simply a trough. There is no magnetic feature in there, so you just have to make sure to keep it really clean. And you can see I've got a little bit of rust buildup in there, but a simple wipe with a paper towel, that usually comes right out. Alright, this next part's going to cause a little bit of controversy. I'll let you guys fight it out in the comments. So the guide rail here can be affixed in this position or in the front. And what that does is allows this, remember the stone travels this way, away from your body. It allows you to put the knife either with the material going in this direction or with the stone traveling towards your blade. There are going to be a lot of comments on which way is the best, and it's funny, a lot of guys will comment that it should travel away so that it creates that burr on the other edge, and it makes sense. But if you sharpen like this, you will also feel that burr on the other side. If you've never done it, try it, it does. Now, it's funny, you'll also get the guys that hate systems like this and they say you should hand sharpen. Well, when you hand sharpen on the stone, you're doing it more in this fashion. You're pushing it towards the material. You're not necessarily pulling it away. Some people do, but for the most part, people are taking the knife towards a flat stone. So there are schools of thought both ways. People are vehement about which one they prefer. The Tormek allows you to do both. Now for the leather stropping wheel, I tend to do it by hand without the guide rail here. However, if you did want to use the guide rail, you would use it in this fashion only. You would not put it up here because that leather has to travel away from your material. If it travels towards it, the blade's gonna cut right into your leather stropping wheel there. So only affix it in this position. But again, I usually just take it off the jig and do it by hand. It's plenty easy enough by hand. All right, so what all comes with the Tormek T4 Bushcraft? You get your grit stone, so you can take it from 220 to 1000 grit. I demonstrated that in the Tormek T8 video if you're interested in seeing that. You get your honing compound and your honing oil. These are for the leather stropping wheel, and you saw that kind of in some of that intro footage. You're going to get a small knife jig. You're going to get an axe jig. I have not yet used this. I'm excited to use that here soon. The angle finding tool. And then a very nice surprise, you actually get a Mora Bushcraft knife. They send a brand new Mora Bushcraft knife along with your Tormek T4 Bushcraft. Pretty awesome. Alright, and you're going to get a very nice instruction book with this. Now the instruction book will show you everything. Look at all the grinds and all of the things that this can sharpen. Here's 2 pages. I believe there's a 3rd and a 4th page. There might have even been a page before that. Nope. So 1, 2, 3, 4 pages of things that you can sharpen, from garden shears to regular kitchen scissors to knives, small knives, long knives, axes, hatchets, curved and square chisels, skew chisels. This thing does a lot. And the nice thing about the rest of the book is the rest of the book shows you how to do the rest of this. So if you have a lot of woodworking tools and you're curious on how to sharpen them with the Tormek, the book basically walks you through the entire process. All right, people often have 2 pieces of criticism for the Tormek. One, the price, which I already went over, and the second thing is the grind style, the grind type, that it's a hollow grind. Some people have called it a concave grind in the comments. Yes, it is, but it's negligible. And what I mean by that is, especially with the 10-inch stone and even with this one, this is so big, that radius is so big, that the point of contact where it comes in contact with the blade is for all intents and purposes flat. It's more equivalent to a flat stone. A knife where you would notice it would be something like this with a higher grind. So from there to there is your grind. Okay, now you could sharpen this, but if you look down that, you might be able to see a little bit of concaveness, whatever the term is. Might, because it's so slight with the wheels being as big as they are. And I sharpened this steel wheel cut jack with a pretty high grind. You can see how tall that is right there. And if you look down this, you could never tell that it's concave or hollow. So yes, it's hollow, not as big a deal as most people make it, so please don't worry about that, but I'm sure you'll see people comment about it. So that's it, guys, the Tormek T4, and it comes with a Mora Bushcraft knife. So I think if you were to buy this by itself, I want to say it's 40 or 50 bucks, something like that, so pretty fantastic deal. Now if you can stomach it, this is the way I would recommend you go. For $700, even with the factory stone, not the Japanese water stone, it's an amazing unit. If you want to take it to the ultimate level, get this Japanese water stone. You will never need another knife sharpener in your life. I promise. This thing is amazing. Go watch my video on that. But $425 beats every other system that's in that price point, hands down. And can't recommend it enough. So that's it, guys. I'll post a link in the description below. Check it out. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please hit that subscribe button below. We've got lots more videos to come, and we'll see you in the next one.